It is September 2nd, 2023 at 11:33 p.m. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts. So I have to do a lot of repeating tonight, which we're all extremely tired of. So again, in 2013, November, I left Lubbock and moved to the Dallas area to get away from Charles Perry and all the problems that he causes. He causes horrible, catastrophic, profound loss of homes, vehicles, families, finances, and gets a kick out of it. He's done this all his life and gotten away with it until he started doing it to me. All of a sudden, when he started doing it to me, everything changed forever. And the very sad thing is that he doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand cause and effect, same and different, before and after, and what it means that we have so much intel about very detailed, specific information from right inside his criminal organization that we've gotten over 10 years, all day, every day. And I don't type it all up, but I type up a lot of it, and as it pertains to me in particular. There's a whole lot more that goes outside of me to other victims, and that he knows nothing about that we have. And this goes back pretty far. Mr. Perry has no idea what it means that we have that information. Doesn't know who's getting it. Doesn't know how we get it. All he knows is what's here. So part of that included, someone said Mr. Perry does not want Cindy to know that he has Huntington's disease. And the response was, I'm sick and tired of watching him ruin her and pester her and terrorize her and torment her constantly. So let's make sure she finds out he has Huntington's disease. Huntington's disease causes paranoia, hallucinations, delusion, psychosis, and impaired cognitive reasoning. So years ago, our cops have a shrink that they use, and she said, I read through all his emails. His responses are largely 2 to 3 sentences, and each sentence contains about 3 to 5 words. So we've not responded like that since first grade. It's almost like he's reading the email to him and doesn't understand it. Like he's got aphasia, or he's got Alzheimer's, or he's got senile dementia, or he has something that is causing severe mental illness and severe mental retardation. He doesn't understand cause and effect. When you touch a hot stove, you get burned. When you do the crime to Cynthia, you get caught. What does it mean that you're getting caught? What does it mean that we have so much that you've done, specific information about a criminal act that you intend to commit against Cynthia before you do it, not after? And again, when I'm use third person, and for most people, I don't have to explain this, but I'm dealing with someone with severe mental impairment, so I have to explain this. When I use third person, I'm usually quoting somebody else. Okay? Right now I'm quoting our shrink. I'm going to try to talk very slowly so that Mr. Perry can better understand me. I'm from Albuquerque, Las Vegas. In those two, and I worked in medical, and you got to talk fast. When you're in medical, you're talking with surgeons, you're talking with doctors. They have a room full of people in the waiting room. They've got every patient room is full, and you got 30 seconds to explain a very complicated health concern, and then 30 seconds they're gonna tell you back what they want you to do about it, and you better understand it the first time, because it could cost somebody their life. So I'm used to speaking very fast. Where I'm working with elected officials, and you got limited time, federal. So I met with John Ensign, Harry Reid, John Porter, Shelley Berkeley, Heather Wilson, on and on and on and on. Their time is very limited. You got to talk fast. And when they talk back to you, they're going to say it only one time. You have to understand it. You don't have a choice. Or you wasted, I mean, you got to talk fast. You got to understand. These are adult conversations people have. So for me to have to deal with someone like Mr. Perry, and the same is true for the officers investigating him, having to deal with somebody that you have to talk very slowly for, and they still half the time have no idea what you just said, is extremely unnerving for me. I'm not used to it. I'm not trained in how to deal with that. When I'm doing, I mean, there's the big thing of I worked in a strip club for 6 years and made not one slip up. I came out of there with a shit ton of evidence myself, like Pinto, Mr. Roberson's admission of giving me arsenic, Mr. James's admission of I signed an NDA, and there's not going to be charges in Oklahoma, and I tell him, it's not going to matter. Here's the thing, you sound kind of like you're gloating, and I find that very interesting. There won't be charges against Charles Perry for what he's putting me through in a state where he does not live and was never invited. You're telling me you know this. You came to my work in Oklahoma. You sat down and told me there won't be charges against the man who sent me here to talk to you. A man you don't want anything to do with, a man you do not like, a man you moved twice to get away from. I found out where you work. I found out when you were working, not from you, but from someone who's committing the felony act of stalking you. Here I am at your work. There's not going to be criminal charges here. He made me sign a non-disclosure. I've been watching this situation from behind the scenes, and by the way, maybe it's worth the risk for him to kill you. And you have the suspicion that you saw with Gary Condit and Chandra Levy. Maybe it's worth that. He actually texted me that. He tells me verbally, I wasn't able to pull out my recorder. It wasn't safe there. It was too open, I guess you want to say. There was no place where I could hide it like I could with Pinto, who offered me $5,000 on behalf of Mr. Perry to sleep with him. I get Terry Wagner coming in on the night supposedly his wife dies, or wanted to. I've been in road construction in Oklahoma for 40 years. Really? So you must know David Roberson. Oh no, I've never heard of him. Oh, come on. Now, you've worked in the same state, in the same industry, with someone for 40 years and you've never even heard of him? It would have been a better lie had he said, I've heard of him, but I don't know him very well. That would have been the better lie, don't you think? Then I've never even heard of this guy who works in the same industry I do, in the same state for 40 years. Bullshit. That's not possible. I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's 2 million people in Las Vegas. In the state of Oklahoma, there's about the same in the whole state. And in the medical field, I've run into people that lived in Vegas also, and we know a lot of the same people. So come on with this, I never heard of him stuff. If you're gonna lie, at least try to lie right. Anyways, so all these people that Mr. Perry hired and sent in, and those are just the ones that I was either able to record, or I got them texting me shit. It was very incriminating. Anyways, Mr. James said a lot of stuff to me verbally, face to face. I was able to get him to text it to me again. Okay, not many people can do that, especially under the duress that I was under. It's very stressful when you just want to go to work and you have someone that you don't like, and you've moved twice to get away from, who does nothing but cause you very major losses like your home or your car or family members or something, a key relationship, a job. Here they are. You're here and I didn't invite you here, and I didn't tell you that I was coming, that you know, where I was. I don't want you to know where I work, much less popping up to be here. I don't want you to know where I live, and then here you are. By the way, stalking is a felony. It's a felony crime. So, I'm sorry, Mr. James, that you think there's not going to be any charges filed. And he says, well, not here. Okay, but there are going to be charges filed. So I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. But Mr. Perry has fed you a line of shit. Just so you know. When we get this stuff, Mr. Perry, and I'm typing up a police recording, and we have stuff like names. See here? Names of your people. Somebody is getting that information from you to me and 40 other in the need to know. Well, there's 40 cops, there's me, there's a judge that signs off on any kind of surveillance order, wiretap or something, signs extensions, signs off on an initial order, signs off on additional orders if some phone call that y'all made or meeting that you had reveals additional people involved. Then he's going to listen to that recording. It's the same recording I've heard. Then he's going to order a wiretap maybe on the other people's phones that were there, that weren't there at prior meetings. See how that works? It helps to have probable cause. So if you had a leak record you initially, and in that recording, the leak says there was this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, all talking about getting Cindy fired or making her move or contacting her family to get information about her car so we could take it away from her, or whatever it is y'all decided to do. And the leak has named the 5 people or the 10 people that were in that meeting. All 10 of them, then the judge can decide, okay, well, that's probable cause for all 10 to have a wiretap order on their phones, every phone they've got. Because I want to find out what else they're up to. And then our guys are going to do that, whatever they do, right? And that leak may come in with 3 or 4 more of those. Or it's an infiltrator, somebody we sent in. I'm not, here's the thing, it's a need to know. I'm not even told how they get what, because I don't need to know that. I don't need to know what comes from a leak. I don't need to know what comes from a wiretap order or some type of surveillance. There's a lot of things you can do now. There's drones. Somebody can sit in their car and have a little pen recorder right there next to you talking while you're talking if you're out in the open. There's a shit ton of stuff that they can do to get your conversation. So, then they take that to the judge and they go, this is a new guy. They were talking to this guy, this guy, and this guy, and this guy these times. But today they added this other guy, you know, for example, Tim with his transponder. I'm going to throw her on my plane. I'm going to turn the transponder off so they don't know where we're taking her. That way we don't have to worry about these people that are helping her. This is not a one-person show. Surely you guys know that one person cannot produce this kind of evidence. This one should have let you know something was different, something was up. And it didn't. To this day, Charles Perry has no fucking idea what it means that we have that. Not a clue. He has no idea what's happening. It is very awful and sad to see someone's mind deteriorate to that point. That at his age, he can read this email and not understand a word of it, and not understand what it means that we have it. This we call the McNamara email. This is the first one he knows about, but not the first. Where we knew before, specifically in great detail, what he intended to do that would be a criminal act to me that would cause me an injury or a loss. This is the first he knows of, but not the first we have. This horrified someone so badly when he told them this is what he was going to do that we got it. I'm not going to say exactly how we got it or who gave it to us, because I don't know that. Mr. Perry asks me 24/7 constantly. Was it this person? Was it that person? Tonight it's Sam. Who the fuck is Sam? Sam Cummings? The guy, the judge? The federal court judge that you took duck hunting? That didn't hear me once? Didn't review any of my evidence or have any of my testimony with that evidence. We went through the scenario of the man is mugged. I'm sorry, the man is arrested for mugging a woman. They've got a picture of him grabbing her arm and purse. Looks like he's trying to grab her purse off of her arm, and the picture seems to be very damning evidence, right? Until they go to court and the prosecutor puts the victim on the stand, and the victim's going, I'm confused as to why we're here. Because that young man is my son. I was falling and he was trying to steady me. So he grabbed my arm to steady me and my purse to remove it from my shoulder because it was heavy and knocking me off balance. There was no mugging. Can you imagine? What if they just have the picture and no testimony with the picture? It's a completely different thing now. Once you have the testimony with that photograph evidence. The evidence needs testimony sometimes. I have evidence like this that needs testimony. And not one time has Here's the thing. I filed a lawsuit for false imprisonment, violation of equal protection, and Title 42 or whatever, major civil rights violations. I think the 4th and the 14th Amendment. I've not been to law school. I have not one day of law school. I tried calling attorneys, and every single one of them shot me down. And I'm like, wow. So I go to work, and somebody tells me he has gotten in touch with every single attorney in Oklahoma. You're not going to find one. So you might as well give up. And I said, no, I'm not going to give up. I'll just do it myself. Listen, I get everybody thinks I'm a stupid stripper. But before I did this, I'm doing this because Mr. Perry gets in my wallet and takes my money and runs customers off. But before that, I made a lot of money owning my own medical business and running, I was just kind of starting a political consulting business. So I'm not just a stupid stripper, as it turns out. There's a lot more than that I can't tell you right now, but I'm not just a stupid stripper. But it's funny that you guys missed some important things because you think I am. So you're going to tell me, well, we're going to make sure he made sure you can't find an attorney, so just drop it. That you actually thought that I would go, oh, okay, all right. That for me, that like never happens. I was born with my middle finger up at the world. Ask Lynn Hall, ask Kathy Hall, ask Shelly, my sister, ask my kid. That's not really likely going to happen where I'll just go, oh, okay. No, I might go down, but I'm going to go down fighting hard. And you're going to pay. You're going to get your eyeballs scratched out on my way down. You're not going to be unscathed. Because I don't pick a fight with people. I don't. That's not my thing. I don't like fights, I don't like drama, and I don't like conflict. But I swear to God, you pick one with me, the first thing I'm going to do is look at you and go, cut that the fuck out. Cut it the hell out. We're grown-ups. We're professionals. Cut that the fuck out. And if you continue to fight with me, you're going to get hit back, and you're going to remember it for the rest of your life. I'm not going to hit you a little bit. I'm not going to hit like a girl. I'm going to hit you so hard that you wish you had not met me. Because I don't pick fights. I fucking try very hard to avoid fights. If you insist on fighting with me anyway, then you're gonna wish you hadn't done that. I'm not gonna put up with it. I don't have to. I'm not going to. I don't want to. What you could do is leave me the fuck alone. Then you don't have anything to worry about. But you're not gonna go around and, we called all the attorneys in the state of Oklahoma and told them not to help you and paid them a little something. They're on our pay. We paid them so they work for us. You're not gonna fight. You might as well drop it. If you actually thought I was gonna go, okay, you're off your nut. So I didn't. I went and I bought law books and I studied it, and every time they ran my customers off at Sensations and we had nothing to do, I was back in the back learning the law. We go into the first hearing, and Mr. Perry files a motion to dismiss, and Judge Jane denied it. After that, never again am I allowed in court. So, what's the harm in letting someone who's crazy and stupid go into court and have your attorney just make me look crazy and stupid? First of all. Second of all, what is the harm in letting the court see evidence I don't have? That's actually, somebody else said that. That's a brilliant way to put it. Why not let her go into court to admit evidence she doesn't have? You keep saying she doesn't have evidence, so let her go into court and admit evidence she does not have. Let her present it, let her testify with it, let her get witnesses up, and you overcome it with your own. Like a grown-ass man. But that's not what they've done. They have, mind you, 5 seasoned old fart attorneys. These guys are not fresh out of school. These guys are seasoned. They've been at it for a long time. By far better than I am. And they're still scared of me. They still won't face me in court like men. So, is that the Sam you're talking about? Because that's the only Sam I know. Why are you asking me if Sam is a leak? Because I've told you over and over and over and over and over, I'm not told who the leaks are. I don't know who the leaks are. I'm not told who the leaks are. And the weird thing is, Mr. Perry, when he asks that question, acts like he thinks I want to help him. And nobody understands why in the fuck he thinks that. It is very awful to watch someone's mind deteriorate that badly, where they're asking the same questions you've already answered every day for years. Is it this person? Is it that person? I've never helped you, nor will I. You've ruined my life. Why is it you think I would help you? When you do that, that really makes people irate, and we get even more intel out of that. It's amazing how the more pissed off Mr. Perry makes everybody because he's cruel, we start getting a fuck ton of intel. That motivates people to talk. People talk when they're mad. So you piss people off being mean to me, or cruel to, sometimes it's somebody else. We get a lot of stuff from that. The more cruel he's gotten, the more shit we get. So, okay. So there's that. This one horrified someone. He did try to do it. He varied it a little bit, but not a lot. We went to do a false arrest and coercer. He's trying to do that same thing again now. He's been trying to do it since this one didn't work out right. Because what he had me arrested for and charged for in Texas, I've never been arrested before in my life. I get arrested for doing something. I get charged and arrested in Texas for doing something you have to do by law in Oklahoma where I live. And he knew that. Filing a police report to get a protective order. Tulsa police got the report and gave it right to the offender and collected 0 evidence. It was attempted murder from what Mr. Roberson's texts say. Yes, we gave you arsenic. Yes, we're stalking you. Yes, we gave you arsenic. None of that is political. The charge was filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job as a senator. The charge was in Texas. Okay, somebody's threatening you with this, death and false arrest. You need a protective order. So I filed a protective order. They knew by law you have to do that. Tulsa police collect nothing. Nothing at all. Instead, they give the police report right to the offender, who then, in January 29th, obstructed justice, destroyed my evidence, and false imprisoned me for 2 months. This was sent October 29, 2015. The police report I filed was on the 21st of January 2016, and the arrest was on the 29th, less than a week. Police from Tulsa called me back on the 15th of February. We need to get your evidence. Come on in. Okay, so the dates are significant there. They knew I had to file it by law. I was in compliance with the law in the state where I live. The first protective order I tried to get was denied in part because I forgot the fucking police report. So they knew I had to have it, and they did that. By the way, there's 0 texts, 0 tweets, 0 emails, 0 conversations about me being pissed off at Mr. Perry's politically. Nothing. Stalking all the way, also, by the way, is not part of what someone needs to do to pass law in Texas. So, there was no probable cause to believe that a false police report had been filed because nobody collected my evidence, nobody investigated anything, nobody sat me down and said, let's just talk, tell us what happened. Tell us what's going on here. Nothing like that. In fact, I guess somebody got upset about that recently and said, why didn't they just talk to her? Nobody talked to her. At Tulsa Police, there's 3 reports she's filed, and at no time has anybody just talked to her. Nobody collected any evidence. Nobody gave a shit. What if she ends up like Nicole Brown says so? I did say he's gonna kill me. I did say he's trying to traffic me and kill me. I did say he's trying to traffic me. Mr. Perry, you've been caught on the trafficking. I did say he's trying to traffic me. Trafficking is a very serious crime. Mr. Perry, trafficking people is illegal to do. Mr. Perry, you're caught trafficking people. Mr. Perry, you got caught when you did it to me. I've not been trafficked yet. You're trying to deliver to the buyer. You're doing something illegal. You act like you don't know what it means that you're caught. People have scratched their heads long and hard. Why does Charles Perry act like he doesn't know he's caught? Why does he do that? What's wrong with him? Well, he has a mental illness called Huntington's disease. It's like Alzheimer's. And you can say the same thing to the guy over and over and over, and it's just not clicking. When you do the crime to me, we get stuff like this. Do you like that? I guess you do. Has that ever happened to you before? No. What does it mean that I have this beforehand, not after? He has no idea. Very frustrating to have to deal with somebody that far mentally gone. Just not all there. He's gone. Okay, so we get names of his people out of that. Lucius, Sanjay, the hacker, Geppetto, the witch, who's Monique, and where she ran. They fuck with my grade at school. They called the professor and said fail her, and she did. That affected a student loan. That affected my money. By the way, our guys have kept track, Mr. Perry, of every month. I don't make $3,000 a month because they know what I made before I met you, what I can make, what I normally make, what I should make, what other people in the industry make, and what you have taken from me. They're calling it coercion. The act is deprivation of food and shelter with intent to coerce. It is a crime. It is illegal. You have an attorney that should be explaining all this to you. I shouldn't have to say a word about it. By the way, your contacting me directly is highly inappropriate. It's disturbing. And it gets us more intel. Because you're pissing people off. Us getting intel, what is it for? What does it mean that we have this? See, we get the information, we are getting the help with the information, and you're not. Our guys won't call you back. They're not going to give you the time of day. Because they know that you've been trying to reach them to get me fired. And they're not calling you back. They'll see you in court. They'll see you when they arrest you and then in court. So, anyways, real quick, let me back up. So I moved from Lubbock to the Dallas area. I left. Charles, why might it be that someone wants to get away from you? Act like you understand what it means that someone is trying to cut off all communication with you, and they're trying to cut off all ties with you, and when you're mean to people, they don't like you. We are quoting you. You're not quoting us. We have your people's names. You can't name even one of my guys at all. You can't name one. It's a need to know. They are all over you. And you act like you have no fucking idea what that means. We're just like, it's sad to watch someone have the mental status just deteriorate like that. It's very sad. Okay, so so we find out about the Houston compound where they start talking about Natalie Holloway being there, and my guys were like, "Whoa, that's huge." So I want you to put out that we're gonna do an extraction and let's see what happens. So we do. We put out there's gonna be an extraction, and the next thing we know, they're talking about it again. We got the reaction we were looking for. You always do things to see what kind of reaction you're gonna get. And if there's no reaction, that basically is a reaction. It's going to tell you something. Every reaction or non-reaction will tell you something. And then you go from there. Okay, so then they start saying, well, should we move her? Do you think she would remember her name, Natalie Holloway? She's not gone by that name for years. So we're going, holy shit. So now there's other measures being taken. We've said FBI in Houston, go get them. Go get these women. We understand Mr. Perry admitted they're there, but said, by the way, one of those guys said, there's a bunch of girls there that they kidnapped. They raped them. They got them pregnant. They had kids. Now they're having sex with those kids. So this place is a crime-ridden compound of hell for a bunch of poor little kids. So why no one's done anything about it until we find out about it? Now we're talking about it. Our guys are not going to come out right now and just blow the whole thing. They will when it's time for them to. They'll do it. But right now, why not Houston FBI? Why not Houston PD? I mean, why not? Why wouldn't they? Did you buy them, Charles? How many people have you bought? How many officials have you bought? You tell us. Okay? This thing in Egan's Court or Parker's Court or whatever it is, I know very little about it. I know you're stealing my mail. My guys tell me you're stealing my mail. I haven't gotten mail in several months. That's very strange that I haven't gotten mail for several months because stealing mail is a federal crime. So, but there's so many. What's one more? Right? Okay, so what they said is the prosecutor told me, it's been some time ago, this is a fraud in the worst way I've seen fraud be in a long time. They're using it to coerce you. Look, we got these illegally obtained orders, and they are intended to crush you so that you feel you have no choice but to be trafficked. Trafficking, Mr. Perry, is a criminal act. Act like you understand what's being said. What you're doing is so incredibly offensive. We get the help with information, and you don't. We're quoting you. We have your people's names, not the other way around. Now, we understand that you don't understand the significance of what we have. Your attorney needs to explain that to you. It is not my responsibility. I'm not your nurse, and I'm not your attorney. Your attorney needs to explain it. I'm done with you. I'm done. I'm going to do these podcasts for the record that we've advised you or told you or explained to you that my wishes and my intent is not to have any further contact with you at all whatsoever. And when you cause me loss, when you cause me a problem, when you take something from me that doesn't belong to you, when you butt into things that are none of your business, that's very, very offensive, and it's a crime. So, people tend to get pissed off at you when you do that. Most people, by the way, our shrink is like, surely they understand that it's not just traumatizing for someone to lose something significant like a home or a car over and over, or a significant relationship or whatever, or a job over and over and over and over and over, especially due to a criminal act. But it's also traumatizing for those people watching this. It's not, if a child is raised in a home where there's abuse, It's going to traumatize the child who's abused, and there's sometimes they only, the abusive parent only picks on one kid, and all the other kids are watching this. It's traumatizing for them too. You're going to have secondary trauma. So you can, they had this with Hitler. Hitler would, here's these poor people not eating for days and days and days and days and days. And then they'd walk out and make them, work. And there would be if you watch Schindler's List, there would be somebody, standing there just shooting them randomly. And it wasn't just traumatizing for the victims, to have to live with, am I gonna get shot and killed today? But also, is my family member gonna get shot and killed today? Or is my friend, or whatever. It's a horrible way to have to live, wondering if someone's going to take something important to you or from you. Believe me, after this happened, every threat after that was much more terrifying for me. It still is. I get threatened still with deprivation of food and shelter, interference with contracts and commerce, with intent to coerce, murder, kidnapping, rape, on and on, constantly, every day, all day long. We're gonna ruin you, we're gonna kill you, we're gonna starve you, we're gonna do this, we're gonna take your home, we're gonna take your car, constantly. He never stops. Constantly threatens me. He'll type it in my phone, this one or the other one, and I can't do anything without him threatening. All day, every day. And he doesn't have an alibi to prove he's not. He doesn't have one. Okay, so when someone makes a threat like this, it's substantial loss when you get false imprisoned or false arrested. Your reputation, I've never been arrested before in my life. Your reputation is smeared. You lose your home. Your child is now homeless, waiting for you to get out of jail. They're telling me, if you'll just, stay quiet, they'll let you out and we'll drop this whole thing. And they lied about that. They did not. They made it worse. In fact, everybody in jail was telling me they're not going to do what they say. They're lying to you. They're going to send you home, harass the hell out of you, and then when you complain about it, they're going to lie. They're going to claim you're harassing them. My guys are like, it is not illegal to talk about somebody doing criminal act to you. The criminal act is what's illegal. And they're trying to act like they're victims, and they're not. We know they're not. So our prosecutor's like, I'm going to handle that. In fact, if you touch it, it's obstruction of justice, because they're using this to try to coerce. They're using this to tamper with you, my witness. They're committing fraud in a courtroom. They're lying. Again, no surprise there. And so I'm going to wait. Let's let them do what they're doing and file everything they want to file. And then I'm going to land on them with both feet like a ton of bricks with the law. And we're going to use all that as part of the criminal case. Why not? Why wouldn't we? We've said this before. This is not the first time I've said it. I've said it. The prosecutor is going to handle it. The prosecutor is going to handle it. He told me to leave it alone. Don't file shit right now. All I want you to do, by the way, I don't even know what it is. I don't get my mail. Mr. Perry's taking my mail. So all I know is there's something in Parker's court and something in Egan's court, and something that the guy said, you have to prove she's lying, and she knows she's lying. So I was like, wait. They have to prove I'm lying and that I know I'm lying, which means, for me, I keep saying they killed Chief Miller and framed Mike after they tried to kill him too and he didn't die. That they did the same thing to Mike they did to me. Let's try to kill him. When they don't die, we'll false arrest. So, what a better place to try that case again in some kind of case, civil some where they gotta prove I'm lying and that I know I'm lying. So if the prosecutor is not gonna or can't do or whatever on that, then I'm gonna make sure that door's open if I choose to walk through it. If I can walk through it, because they may all be in jail and that whole thing is vacated, and I may not need to. If I have to, there you go. There's the door. I just opened it for myself, and then if I want to or need to walk through it, I can. Prove that I'm lying that you killed Chief Miller, and you tried to kill Mike and framed him, and then I know I'm lying. Prove it. On that. So we did that. And so I don't know. All day long, Mr. Perry was typing in my phone, I win. Call me. I made you broke, call me. And then I'm getting, my guys are like, oh my god, listen to this. Here, who can tell Cindy she has to leave Oklahoma? Okay, so first I'm going to let you listen to this. Okay, so most people are like these guys in here, where if a woman says leave me alone, then leave her the fuck alone. Because it's rape. We, the women, define how you make us feel. Stalking makes you feel raped. Voyeurism makes you feel raped. It is a kind of sexual assault. You're violating us, it's rape. You want to coerce me, you want to kidnap me, you want to false imprison me, and you want to rape me. And I said no. Who can we get to talk, Cynthia? Who can we get to go tell her you have to leave Oklahoma after you came here to get away from all this? It was the second time I moved. I left Lubbock in November 2013, moved to the Dallas area. Mr. Perry makes my life unbearable. I left the Dallas area and came to Oklahoma to home to my family in September 2014. And Mr. Perry hasn't left me alone since. He doesn't live in Oklahoma. I didn't invite him to Oklahoma. I never took him around my family, never introduced him to my family. Now, here's the thing real quick with my family. I've got a huge family. I came to Oklahoma to be with my family and to get away from Charles Perry, have no further contact with him, no more problems, no more drama, nothing. Fuck the hell off. He's in Oklahoma and they can't get the fucker to leave. He's got a wife, Jacqueline, Jordan, and Matthew, his kids. Why is he always in Oklahoma? They can't get him to leave. It's very sad when someone's mind just goes. It's a sad thing to watch, and they have no idea what's happening when you're telling them, I'm quoting you, in the middle of crime every day. What day are they going to finally be done and you're in jail? We're getting that intel to put you in jail. Do you not understand? That's why we're doing it. Why else would we do it? Do you think we're just fucking bored? And we have all kinds of money and resources. And there's no way I could do that by myself. Who gave me the Fabian puzzle? How did I get that? In jail. I got that in jail. These guys gave it to me. Okay, so Mr. Perry is like this guy. She's telling him, what is, how do you like having a camera in your face? And he's like, oh, do you want me to go get pictures of you? I'm stalking you. I've got pictures of you everywhere you go. Mr. Perry tells me the same thing. We've got pictures of you. Listen, I came to a state where, you know who doesn't? Steve Massengale, Dan Pope, John Steinmetz. They don't know where I'm working and they don't care. They don't know where I live and they don't care. They don't know what I drive and they don't care. And they don't have pictures of me going, just doing normal things normal people do. Go to work, go to the store, not bother anybody, just doing my thing, trying to make money, trying to make sure my bills are paid, contract terms are met. And there you are with your camera. And they don't know or care. Why do you? So this guy, and then she's like, leave everybody the fuck alone. Also over here on the right to that one, those are those right there. To the right, she has to say, leave me alone 6 times. And then he says, why are you dressed like a prostitute? And everybody's like, but here's the thing. No one cares how what you think about her clothes. You weren't asked. What were you asked to do? Is it that you're struggling to understand what people are saying to you? Because she didn't say, what do you think of my clothes? She said, leave me alone. You failed to respond both times, sir, like you understood what she was saying. Because when somebody says, leave me alone, then normal people leave them alone. When a crazy person is told, leave me alone, then they start talking about, and you're like, I didn't ask you what you think. I don't care. No one understands, Mr. Barry, why you think I care what you think. I didn't ask. No one understands why you think I would help you by telling you the name of a leak. I will never help you. I'm not told that. I don't want to help you. I want you to go the fuck away. Everybody wants you gone. We are getting the help with information, not you. Okay? Look at that. What does that mean, sir? That we get the help with information and no one will call you back. You don't know, do you? See, dealing with somebody who's mental is I hate it. I don't even know what to. I'm not your nurse and I'm not your attorney.
This make you feel? Huh? You're filming my father and my fucking sister. How does this make you feel?
Is that the one that put all those scratches on your arm? You want to see the
scratches?
You want? I got scratches. I can show you the pictures right now.
No, I want you to leave my family fucking alone.
Keep hanging outside of there. Hit the road, dude. I promise.
Okay, so when you have a crazy person telling you, I have pictures of you. I need you, bro. Call me. I win in court. Call me. I have pictures of you. Call me. And you're like, okay, but I don't like it that you have pictures of me. I don't like it because you went into court and did something illegal that's going to hurt me. I don't like it that you made me broke. So why are you acting like this is a trophy? I can see you. I'm watching you in your house. I'm here. I can see you. I don't like that. So why do you act like this is some trophy thing that you should... Why? What is wrong with you? It's embarrassing. It's so fucking embarrassing that anyone would say something that is nutty and not realize that it's nutty. And you're by yourself. And you're rejected and you're told on. Because you made me broke. You're here. You're watching me in the privacy of my home. And you've done some horrible things that caused substantial, profound loss. And you've not lost a thing, by the way. So look at the results you're getting doing all that to me. Okay? No one's helping you, they're helping us. You're offending people. Why do you not know that? At your age, how is it possible that you don't know how offensive your actions are? And that helps us get intel. Okay, the social feedback, you're not reading it, dum-dum. You're not reading it. It's very frustrating. Okay, so listen to this guy.
You're gonna get yours. You're
I don't give a fuck. You can bring whoever the fuck you want.
That's okay.
You're gonna find a whole fucking army. I don't give a fuck.
This make you feel? Huh? You're filming my father and my fucking sister. How does this make you
Is
feel?
that the one that put all those scratches on your arm? You want to see the
scratches?
I got scratches. I can show you the pictures right now.
No, I want you to leave my family fucking alone.
Keep hanging outside of there.
Hit the road, dude. I promise you, you're gonna get yours.
I don't give a fuck. You can bring whoever the fuck you want.
That's okay.
You're gonna find a whole fucking army. I don't give a fuck.
This make you feel?
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone. I don't want to pray for this. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
Oh my god. It's too damn early for this shit. Leave me alone.
How do you dress like this? What are you, like a prostitute? I'm serious.
Sir, please leave.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone. I don't want to pray for this. Leave me alone! Please!
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone. I don't want to pray for this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to, but even when they're not. Unless a woman's giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior, and you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. You need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want free for this. Please leave me alone.
Hey, men. Leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to, but even when they're not. Unless a woman's giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior, and you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. You need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalk me. That's why I leave.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
what
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave me
happened?
alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalk me. That's why I leave.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
what
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave me
happened?
alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalk me. That's why I leave.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
what
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave
happened?
me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalk me. That's why I leave.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
What
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave me alone.
happened?
Okay, so I have to live with that every day. I can see you. I'm here. I'm going to make you go. I'm going to force you. You have to leave Oklahoma. And I'm like, wow, we're quoting you. You're not quoting us. It's not up to you when we quote you, is it? So there's a lot of things you think are up to you that are not up to you. Do we call you guys and go, gosh, do we have your permission to quote you in your meeting when you're planning a crime? We get that beforehand so that we can prove premeditation, malicious aforethought, intent to commit a crime, mens rea. You know it's a criminal act, you do it anyway. You know when you do it to me, you get caught. Before, not after. This isn't an afterthought to explain something away. This is before you do it, not after. That makes a big difference. We can't wait to see if you do it. We get it, you talking about it, we put it out. Then if you do it, we're like, well, I told you so. We only need you to say it one time. So the 50 bazillion times you've talked about having me pulled over, taking my car, wrecking my car, taking out a taillight. We need her to go to the gym so we can take her taillight out. And as soon as she leaves the gym, we're going to have a cop sitting there to pull her over and take her car away. There's no reason to take my car away. Not one. The insurance is fine. The registration is fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so I will tell you this. When I was in court last time for the traffic court thing, we had a cop, Tulsa police, right now in traffic court. I filed a motion for discovery. I want a list. I got targeted. There's no question I got targeted. There's a reason I was targeted, Judge. These guys are trafficking people. I'm one of the persons they sold. They took half up front. They need to deliver to get the other half. They promised a butt ton of folk. We'll give you a little bit of that if you'll help us. And now those people are starting to put pressure on Mr. Perry to hurry up and deliver, get the other half of the money, and then give them their part. Go spend all your credit cards. So now they got credit cards coming in. I'm not going. They're trying to kidnap me by police, starve her. She's gonna run out of money. That Calvin guy. We gotta make it sure she don't have no money, so she'll go be trafficked. She won't have a choice. That's called coercion. It is illegal to do that. So there's people chomping at the bit here that Charles promised money to once he delivers and get his part. They want to have me pulled over. Calvin was recorded telling one of those guys, a police officer who thankfully didn't pull me over, I want you to pull her over. I want you to get a picture of her driver's license. I'm going to use it to make a passport. Charles forged a marriage license when I was in Manford. Chief Miller asked me, did you sign it? And I said no. And he said, I thought it was a forgery. It didn't look like your signature. It looked like a forgery. That's why I'm here. He didn't ask me. Here's the weird thing. I was staying at Lakeshore in Manford, which is like literally 2 minutes from Manford Police Department. Chief Miller drove all the way to Sensations, which is like an hour and a half drive. Asked me if I signed a marriage license. I'm like, why the fuck would I do that? Also, Mr. Perry has a bad habit of telling law enforcement this victim is consenting. They're complicit, and that's bullshit. If the women at the Houston compound agree to be there without you coercing or starving them or kidnapping them like you're trying to do to me, or doing some sort of false arrest like you've been trying to do to me, false arrester was your plan at the club, right? Jerk her off the stage so all the girls can see it. And then if there's any of them leaking, they'll stop, because we'll scare the shit out of them by what we do to Cynthia. Coercion, an act of intimidation, fraud up on a court, because I'm not doing anything illegal. You got to make crap up like you did the first time. We'll send her home, harass the shit out of her, and then when she complains, we'll lie and say she's harassing us. Wow, okay, and we've talked about it. Judge Kirkendall told you guys this looks like I emailed about it way back when 2017. Kirkendall says in 2021. How do I know you were in Judge Kirkendall's court? How do I know about Egan and Parker? You're under police investigation, Mr. Perry. You're getting told on. You have leaks, we don't. We don't ask those kind of questions. Who told on us? Never do we ask that. You do, on a daily basis. Thank you for the admission of guilt. You just want to know how I found out. So, that is an act showing consciousness of guilt. You don't pass the McNaught test, otherwise you got the disease. But you're showing that you know it's wrong, it's a crime. Otherwise you could do the insanity defense. From what I learned in criminal law class at college, your attorney has to tell you, but you have to pass a test that shows you are not understanding that it's a crime, but I think you are if you want to know who told. Okay, so when you retaliate against me, there was a reporter that said, we know they did what she says. Look at her life. There's no question they're retaliating against her. Why would you want to make me lie? If I wasn't lying now, if I was lying now, then you wouldn't you wouldn't try to tell everybody we gotta make her lie. Okay, so they want to jerk me off the stage. They want to have do this false arrest again. Sit me down here. You got to sign the affidavit that we wrote, recanting everything you've said for 10 years. I want you to. I'm gonna get a headline. She was arrested and she admitted finally that she's been lying all along. Wow, but how are you gonna get around dates and times, Mr. Perry? We knew Mike Nealey was drugged before anybody else said it. We knew about it. We knew that before the attorneys knew that. I emailed the Florida State's attorney and said, you got the wrong guy. He was drugged. He didn't do it. There's no injuries on this man. He's found unconscious and in respiratory distress. No bump on the noggin that would cause him to be in that state. Something has to happen to a person to make them go unconscious and in respiratory distress. Something happened to him. Otherwise, why is he passed out? Why is he having problems breathing? Why is he dying? What caused him to be in that state? He's not hit on the head. There's no concussion. There's nothing. He's accused of beating someone to death in a drunken brawl. Chief Miller. 6 days after I filed, just 6 days, just a week after I filed car vandalism report against someone I don't know who did this. It could be a stalker. Could be a stalker. I'm in court with these people right now. One of them, David Robertson, has his employees staying 2 doors down from me, 3 doors down. They work for Dynamic Shot Construction. Terry Wagner. I've worked 40 years in road construction. Never heard of this guy. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I really don't. Sorry. Immediately I knew something was up when he said that. Immediately I knew he works for him. David sent him in here. And if you're going to lie, if he was really going to lie right, he could have at least said, oh, yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know him very well. These guys can't even lie right. Okay, so anyways, I mean, it's so easy, it's not even fair. When you're dealing with somebody with some kind of mental illness like Huntington's or Alzheimer's, that happens. So what he wanted to do is then have me pose with my family for wedding photos to cover up the marriage license forgery that he did to get my personal information to tear down my finances so he could traffic me. Right? Or get a fake a passport with a forgery. They're still trying to get a passport. They're still trying to steal my driver's license. But the thing is, I already know that, so we're saying it now, before. Okay, so when I'm back at the club, they got a shower there, so I'm taking a shower. I have to take my fucking wallet in the shower with me, because if I leave it in my purse outside while I'm in the shower, they're going to have somebody steal my driver's license out of it. They already did that with my Social Security card. They stole my, guess what? On the night of Lucky Miller's procession, they had someone break into my storage unit in Manford, and they stole my birth certificate out of that storage unit. It was in like an attaché thing. So they stole all that. That's what human traffickers do. Human trafficking is a very serious crime. There's billions and billions and billions of dollars spent fighting human trafficking in the United States. The UN has passed resolutions. If you fucking participate in that shit and don't clean it up in your country, you may not be a part, you may not have some help from the UN when you want it. So, okay, so, hang on. Okay, so he wants me ripped off the stage. Then I think they change it to get her in the parking lot before she actually goes in and has a chance to get tipped off by her coworkers. So they've gone back and forth on that, but they wanted these wedding pictures taken to cover up the forgery. They wanted me to sign a lie. They wanted me to, and then if I didn't agree, if I refused, then they're going to go tell my family, oh, she got herself in some trouble, just like with financially, and we want to help her, and she's just not letting us help. We've got this house for her, this car, this Buick Enclave, this money, bullshit. And what do I have to do to get that? Be pimped out, be raped? That's what trafficking is. That's what trafficking is. It's not what you're telling them, supposedly. Okay, so I guess tonight there was some discussion over I think that there was some doubt as to what she was saying until Mr. Perry is really insistent on they do this at the club and she can't go out there to waitress, she has to be dancing or this thing won't work. So we got that. So that started then, so because of that he's so insistent that it's at the club and she's dancing, not waitressing, that lends some credibility to her story. This is all the times we got a recording and I typed up about being pulled over. So go to the gym. This week it's been all week. Get her to the gym. We'll take her tail light out. Then we'll have her pulled over. And then so I'm like look at the traffic court judge if he has to see all that. What's he gonna say, Charles? The traffic court judge is like, I'm trying to kick this down the road as much as I can. I got this ticket in January. Our next court date is in October. Look how long, it's almost a year. So I asked for the list of pullovers, because it's a lot. And, they don't give it to me. So I file a motion to dismiss not just on Brady. Listen to the words that I'm saying. It isn't just on a Brady violation. It is on perjury by concealment. Read the brief. Read the fucking brief. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. Then we have substitute judge who kicks it down the field. This judge, so I think the last hearing was on August 16th. I'll again go in August 16th. Hoffmeister's back there. I think that's his name, Hoffmeister. He's back there. Well, now we don't just have a... Okay, so first we had a substitute judge who just says, I'm going to kick it down the road. Then we get Hoffmeister does the same thing. Let's kick it down the road. Because I'm like, can you not make... okay, first he says, Mr. Dunbar, file a response to her motion to dismiss because you're not giving her the evidence that she's asking for. Why? Well, it's not relevant. Okay, fine. Give me a brief that says, why is it not relevant? At this point, he is supposed to give me an argument or give the judge a counter argument as to why the evidence I'm asking for isn't a Brady violation or concealment of a material fact from the deciding body that might change the outcome. He doesn't argue any of that. He says you can't have a hearing on a misdemeanor crime in the state of Oklahoma for insufficient evidence. And I'm like, but I didn't argue the grounds of insufficient evidence at all. I argued the grounds for dismissal being Brady and concealment of material facts. He's refusing to give me discovery. That discovery is exculpatory. He's made no argument that it wasn't exculpatory. He's made no argument that it's for relevance. He's arguing something I did not assert. At that point, the judge should have dismissed, and he didn't. And so he tells me, well, we've got a new... So I file another motion to dismiss. Your Honor, he didn't argue shit that has to do with my case. He argued some case, but it's not mine. I didn't assert those grounds at all. And he made no argument against the grounds that I asserted. So the judge actually asked me, what did the substitute judge do? Kicked it to today, kicked it down the field down today. Didn't make a ruling, didn't want to make a ruling. Why is that? Why are we all struggling to make a decision here? Well, because on the law I'm right, and they know that. Mr. Perry's putting pressure on him through his attorney, Mark Warman, we understand, to deny. But the denial would be inappropriate, Mark, because it's illegal. And we all know that. Okay, so traffic court judge says to me, just show me your insurance. I looked at him and I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be pressured to make that argument here today. That's not why we're here, Your Honor. I'm not born yesterday. The argument, I didn't go, oh, okay. The argument we are in here to make today is on the damn list of times I was pulled over. I'm saying it's exculpatory. They're withholding it. They're refusing to give it to me. And not just Brady violation. Please listen to me carefully when I say this. They are intentionally concealing a material fact from the deciding body that could change the outcome, and they have a duty to disclose it, and I have the right to due process and equal protection. And we have, that's it, decide. Well, I can't decide. We got a new attorney. Oh my God. Okay, so we got to give the new attorney, Mr. Dunbar's not on this anymore. We got a new guy. So he's got to read through everything and catch up. No response was filed by Dunbar or anybody else for that matter on the second motion to dismiss. That's ground for dismissal right there. Now, again, Mr. Perry, for the record, everybody listen carefully to me. The judge knows on the law I'm right. You are pressuring him to deny me. Nobody wants to do this either way. They're just kicking it down the road further and further and further. We're almost now a year out from the date I got the ticket. I did not go into that courtroom to show my insurance. That's not the matter before the judge. I'm not going to walk through that door. once I walk through that door, now we're on a different argument, aren't we? Innocence or guilt. My argument right now is Brady violation, dismiss it. Intentional concealment of a material fact, dismiss it. Period. Okay? Please understand, we're quoting you. You're not quoting us. We're naming your people. You're not naming ours. There's a prosecutor watching every single thing you do or don't do. When you start getting into the judge's business and you're trying to make decisions for a judge that you supposedly, on an event that you supposedly have not a fucking thing to do with, be very careful and make sure you can pay for what happens when you do. And that is all I'm going to say, Mark. I'm not your client's attorney, Mark. You are. I'm not his nurse, Mark. I'm not trained for that at all. The medical business that I was in was for vascular disease and had nothing to do with mental illness. Had nothing to do with mental impairment. And you got a serious problem and you act like you have no idea. Almost as bad as your client. It is alarming. It is alarming. We don't even... So, Hoffmeister, when I said the judge who filled in for you kicked it down the road till today, and he started laughing like, here we go, with nobody wants to make a decision here. We'll do some kind of jury wave something, jury sounding. Well, wait though. Make the decision on my motion. Make the decision on my motion. And so we'll see what happens on October 6th. If I don't go in before, and I may. But as if that's not enough to terrorize me like that, just this week, wait till she's at the gym while she's in there working out, take her taillight out and do it again. Or when she caught us at the gym and now she's not going to the gym, I pay for that, by the way. Let's do it at work. We always like harassing her at work. Do it when she's dashing. Get her at a place where she's going to be there, maybe some apartment complex where she's got to go 3 flights up in the back. Get it there. Because we have to deliver her and get our money and give it to all the people we promised it to. And we already know that. And you've not done it yet. You have leaks, we don't. We're quoting, you're not quoting us, and you act like you don't know what that means, that we can do that we are doing that you're in that much trouble. Because no other victim does that. No other victim is telling everybody, here's what they just said they're going to do to me. But I do. And you act like you don't know the significance of it, or what it means that we already know this. Mr. Perry, you act like you have no fucking idea, and it's going right over your head. And it is sad to watch someone's mind deteriorate that bad. It's sad. Okay, so if you want to know the false arrest thing, this is the Fabian puzzle. What does it mean that I have that? What does it mean that I got that in jail? No one has ever said to me, who got that to you? How'd you get it? No one has ever asked me, how did you know Mike Nealey was drugged before anybody else knew? Nobody, nobody. But if Mr. Perry's under investigation and they get him talking about it, that might be why. Yeah, that means you did it. Nobody just said, how did you get this? Before he did it. Do you know how terrifying it is when someone makes a threat and carries some threat like that out? That devastating of a loss. I lost my home, my reputation. For 2 months I'm in jail for the first time in my life. Because I was following the law in the state where I live. My little boy, he could walk to school. We live literally one house over from the tennis courts. He loved to play tennis. He was captain of the tennis team. All of a sudden, he's got to move in with family. He lost his home to a child. I know you don't give a fuck, but I do. Now, as to my family made a choice. I have not talked to my family. These are the texts from 2011. Nothing political about it. It's all about stalking. 2011. 5 years before I could anticipate you were going to go into a court of law and bullshit. Tell a total fraud, perjury, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, this is the false arrest documents. Anybody can look at it. These are the texts. Yes, we gave you arsenic. Okay. The police report's here. See, the 21st. The arrest and the charges are on the 29th. Out of Texas, not Oklahoma. And this was when I got a call back. Talk about nobody collected my evidence. In fact, she says I need you to come in so I can collect it. So my evidence of arsenic poisoning or whatever it is they gave me that made me sick, gone. Michael Nealeys, same thing. They tested him at the hospital after they had already given him Narcan. The chemical composition in his blood is now changed. Now what do? We've lost what made him unconscious and in respiratory distress. We lost it. They're telling us it was opioids. We don't have the blood test before the Narcan. We don't know. His response was like that of someone who has been overdosed with opioids, both in his symptoms when he's dying and in his reaction when they gave him the Narcan and he came to, who was combative, and that is indicative of someone, they tell me, who's been an opioid, they got doped up and they're dying of opioid overdose. We said it before anybody else said it. We knew it before the attorneys knew it, Mr. Perry. You act like you don't know what it means that we have all that. You should. It's huge. What other victim can say that? Why is it different when you do it to me? Okay, so then they dismiss it, but it took a year and a half. And I'm taking, this is dated December 27, 2015. I'm taking charcoal just to go to work. I know that I could go to work and die because they're putting shit in my drinks. I knew it. I had to go anyway. I know that when I go DoorDash, I could get pulled over again and harassed and traumatized again. You're a victim of a crime, it's traumatizing, and then you're re-traumatized a second time by the police when they do it wrong, when they're corrupt. I'm just saying. Watch the Netflix special, Unbelievable. Watch it, TPD. Thank God for these guys. Okay, Christmas, Mr. Perry has me in my car. He's got me kicked out of my home, just like he promised he would, to make me go be trafficked. My guys, Mr. Perry said, she should be making $3,000 a month at least, not $3,000 every 6 months from a student loan she has to pay back, and then call and beg and scream and whatever to my ex-husband so that he'll help me. That is never going to happen again. It will never fucking happen again where I have to call and beg. Okay? You are going to pay for what you've done to me and to all the victims. Right now, you're paying with intel. Right now, you're going to pay with charges. Right now, you're paying with intel. The intel is being gathered to charge you and get a conviction. So you can't hurt people ever again. And the more you do the crime to me, the more we get. This we also got because you pissed people off. It's not legal, but I'm going to have her car towed and sold before she figures that out. My car was wrecked 5 times. In 3 years, right after that. In fact, I think there was one of those, Mike Neely, the whole thing was over her car. How did you know we had to beg Mike to go to Pensacola? You had to trick him into it because you had a plan. This is evidence of premeditated murder right there. At this point, my son calls me and tells me, get this thing off, get my picture off there. It's fair use. You put it on Snapchat and it's yours. So that gets me around the copyright. And my guy said no, Dennis. My guy said no. What you're going to do, young man, is you're going to not call your mom only when you want to yell at her for Charles, is what you're going to do. I'll decide when it comes down. It's not up to you and it's not up to your mom. Right now it's being used forensically to show the difference between somebody who was in a fight. No one died in that fight. It was just a mild little bapped a couple of times. Everybody went home safe and sound. And this man has no marks on him at all. Accused of beating someone to death. His head, Chief Miller's head, was beat back and forth, back and forth, back and forth so hard he died of internal decapitation. His head came off his body internally. He was hit that hard. The ME said it was like he was in a car crash. And yet not a mark on him. His red hand, the arrest report said, is red and swollen. Well, he's got an IV needle in it. His hands aren't going to look like that. So, the police helping me, Dennis, said that you never call to see how I'm doing, if I'm okay. Or just say, I miss your mom, I love you. The only time you call me is when you're going to yell at me for Mr. Perry. And they've noticed that, and it's noted for the record. The judge has been told. And, so for Mr. Perry to use my son that way is awful. He's a kid. But it's duly noted for the record, Mr. Perry, that you've done that. As for my family, I'm sitting in my car on Christmas by myself. These guys that gave me this information, that's actually in this thing right here, and that my Neely was drugged and gave me the Fabian puzzle and all of that, kept me happy all day long. That's my family. My family made a decision to, against my will, allow Mr. Perry into their home and into their life. And never once sat me down and said, is it okay? How do you feel about Mr. Perry coming over here? Taking us to dinner? Being a part of our life? And he wants to make sure you're never here and don't know. Are you comfortable with that? Right there, it ought to be weird. Anytime somebody tells you, I'm going to do this, but don't tell them. If it's not a sweet surprise, like I bought him a car, don't tell him. Or I bought this, or I bought that, or here's the Christmas gift. Like the guy said, Cynthia is not Charles Perry's girlfriend. She's a trafficking victim. Because I'm going to one way I know is I have a girlfriend who's actually with me right now. It's not something I'm daydreaming about, invading her privacy like Charles does. Watching Cynthia in the privacy of her home like a rapist. Committing the crime of voyeurism, violating her like that in the nastiest, most vulgar, obscene way I can even imagine. My girlfriend's actually sitting here. And I don't call her friends and family. I can respect the boundaries. But if I did, it would be to find out what she wants for Christmas or her birthday. Not ask them to get the information off of her car so I can take it away from her. You want me pulled over so that you can get the officer to take a picture of my driver's license, Calvin said, and make a passport. And get specifics on my car insurance to see if you can wreck it and I could replace it. And we know that. We've heard you talking about it over and over and over and over, and we only need one. Charles, you're caught. What does it mean that we have that now? You don't know. It's so sad to see someone's mind deteriorate that badly, and extremely embarrassing. What's even more embarrassing is that you don't know you should be embarrassed, and the rest of us are very embarrassed for you. It's sad. Because you should understand what it means that we already know that, and that we've heard you talking about it repeatedly. And we only need one for a criminal conviction, sir. How do I get the information, Mr. Perry? I'll never help you. No one understands why you think I would. That you continue to bother me with your questions. Bother your attorney with your questions. It's inappropriate for you to contact me. It's awful that you still contact me. My guy said in March 2020, Cynthia's privacy is not to be invaded. You are not to contact her or her family in any way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly, ever again. And she'd better not be broke. Get your hands out of her wallet. She should be making $3,000 a month, not $3,000 every 6 months. That's a loan she has to pay back. Get your hands out of her wallet. Now you got in my school. That pissed everybody off like a motherfucker. So now we got the Natalie Holloway conversation, Tim and his transponder, and your compound in Houston. When you fuck with me, it pisses off infiltrators, it pisses off your leaks, stuff people are kind of like, I guess, afraid to talk about or whatever, they get mad enough to start talking when you go with me. There's stuff I can't explain about that, nor do I have to. Okay? But you're motivating people against you. You're motivating people to turn against you. I guess somebody said that. Here's the thing is, Charles and Dave, wherever they go, they cause nothing but problems and drama. Nobody likes problems and drama. And it's not too long and everybody's broke. And I can tell you for a fact everybody's sick and tired of them and sick and tired of that. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they have leaks. Not even surprise, especially somebody's coming around going, we're going to make all that stop. Tell us what they say. Tell us everything they say. How do you know you don't have infiltrators? That's a thing. That's a thing. You know, that'll get you around a lot of probable cause. You got an infiltrator standing there recording everything you say somehow. Or put a bug somewhere for our guys go, put this bug in this place. They won't be able to detect it. This type of bug in this specific place, they won't be able to detect it. Mr. Perry, you just tried to contact me again, and he types in my other phone. I told you don't contact me. When you contact me, we always get more because you piss everybody off. I asked you to leave me alone. So leave me the fuck alone. You've done nothing but make everybody mad. You got a lot of people turning against you. Okay, so we have that. But my family, I mean, they've not been there. They made a decision to allow you in their life, and then they opened the door and never once sat me down and said, are you okay with this? Are you comfortable with it? At which time I would have said, fuck no. Why don't you call them on your phone right now, and I'm going to tell them, don't you ever fucking call my family again. You stay the hell away from me, you stay the fuck away from my family, or I'm going to kick your ass harder than it's been kicked before ever in your life. And I kind of have already done that. The people, so now somebody's complaining, now we have nobody around her to influence her. Oh my gosh, that's so, you shot yourself in the foot again. Can't get me to the club where you were going to do all this weird stuff. And you can't get, find your leaks. And you can't get anybody now to influence me because you ran off my family, you ran off my ex-husband, you ran off my kid. When somebody has berated me for you, I'm done with them. I'm fine. We're done. We're fucking done. That's it. So yeah, they're not going to have influence over me. Because there's people that are giving me stuff like this. They have influence over me. And by the way, since I haven't seen my family since 2019, and I talked to the guys that gave me this every day, and they were there for me on Christmas Day. My family did not call me. They did not text me. They didn't check on me. Nothing. Why in the fuck was that? It was that. But they did. That's who I trust. That's who has influence over me. That's who I listen to. They're kicking your ass harder than it's been kicked in your life. What other victim has this kind of information before? Name one. Name one. So, my guys talked to some guy that you guys thought was helping us. He wasn't, but he is now. And, he agreed with the 12-year-old little girl who said that the way that you're acting is sissified. She called you a sissy. She can. She's 12 years old, or she was when she said it. She's older now. That's been a few years ago. It's rape. I'm not a rapist. Yeah, you are. You're violating these women. That's rape. We decide how you make us feel, not you. Voyeurism is a form of sexual assault. It's nasty. It's vulgar. When you're in your house, you ought to be able to be free of that kind of crap. So, yeah. So the guy's like, let's see if I can find it. That's, yeah, who can we get to influence her to find her and tell her she has to leave Oklahoma? I'm like, you're shitting us with this, right? I came here to be left alone. That's it. My family chose you over me. That's fine. That's your family now. My guy tells me one day, Craig had a very important decision to make, and you're gonna hear it eventually from somewhere. So you're gonna hear it from me, because we're the ones that we've been here. We've saved your ass. He made the wrong decision. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm sorry that he did that. I'm really sorry that he did that. And I said, yeah, me too. There's nothing we can do. He's grown. He's a grown person. Okay, so there's another guy that we document the shit out of this stuff. But yeah, now when you need somebody to influence me for you, you've run off everybody, you got nothing. You had me both, Charles. Oh my god. When we quote you, what do you think that means, Charles? Yeah, you don't know. It's very embarrassing that you don't know. We're quoting you, you're not quoting us. It's very embarrassing that you don't know what it means. Very. Okay, and I don't care what you think. I did not ask you, Connie. Yeah, nobody understands why you think I care what you think. You're not all there. You have nutbag disease. You got it. You have it. And you bother me and pester and threaten and bother and harass and threaten and cause one problem after another, and then run around, why doesn't she like me? I made you broke, why didn't you like me? Call me. And we're just like, oh my god. Wow. So, anyways, they talked to some guy that you thought was helping us, and he wasn't, but he is now. And his comment was, why would a man humiliate himself like this, to no avail and to his detriment? Why would a man do that? Where's the respect, even for himself? So, he goes, I'll tell you one thing, that is a huge weakness that he has, that you can control a guy that does that. So, that's all I'm going to tell you that he said. He said a lot more than that, but that's all I'm divulging. So we just document this in emails, and, hang on. Okay, so we have this blog that documents the threats, and, we got all that. This is the podcast where I put podcasts. This one's going to probably go maybe on the same blog. Sometimes it's like it's a follow-up to the one that's already up, so I'll post two on the same page. Sometimes I'll do a whole new page. Sometimes somebody else makes those decisions. And okay, so here you can see, yeah, sometimes somebody else decides what's posted where and when. Like a police officer, yeah, I'll tell Dennis his picture's up because I want it up, and it's not up to him and it's not up to you. Just like that. He put it out, I'm sorry, he put it out. That's it. And we've said it's your son Dennis, so it's not like we're stealing. It's being used to show forensic difference between a man who was in a fight and a man who was not in a fight, because he was dying of opioid overdose, and the fight was over what you put in his drink. That's what the fight was over, and it wasn't. Okay, so all those texts that I was talking about earlier, with Mickey James and Terry Wagner and all that, those can be found on this page. It goes into a lot of detail as to a lot of perjury, a lot of concealment of material facts from the deciding body. Like, make sure she's not in court. Okay, so Mike's case is right here too. We've Sherlocked that. My doctor's, he escalates more than you can ignore. He's a stalker. And Pinto offering $5,000, soliciting prostitution. He'll give you $5,000 if you'll sleep with him and be creeped out. And I'm like, oh no, there's not enough money in the world. There's not. Okay, and then we've got the whole trafficking page there, documenting Mr. Perry's crime of human trafficking, and a disclaimer. So the disclaimer asserts all my civil rights, and has this: stalkers use technology to stalk, like voyeurism and hacking. And connecting the dots is what police are supposed to do when someone reports stalking. And it does talk about car vandalism being common for stalkers. They like to go at their car. Jodi Arias slashed Travis Alexander's tires. The next escalation was murder in the first degree. That's pretty scary. As a victim, it's scary to know things can escalate that fast. Mr. Perry's tried to kill me more than once, and so I ran into somebody at the store the other day, and she said, I'm going to tell you right now, the reason he has not been able to kill you is God spared you, because those women at that Houston compound need a voice, and you're that voice. And believe me, we all know he's trying to silence you, but those women, those little children, need a voice. You're it. So speak for them. And so whichever judges decide in Mr. Perry's favor without me even being there, and get Mr. Perry goes in, and the guy that said, why would a man humiliate himself like that? To no avail and to his detriment. Someone like that's very easy to control. He also said, and then show the weakness by claiming he is a victim when she calls him a pussy or a dum-dum. Wow. There's a lot, I could do a lot with that. I can do a whole lot with that. With his complaint is outrageous. It is outrageous. And it shows weakness on his part. That he would say something like that. Do these things to women. Do these things to children. And then complain when somebody says you're a pussy. Because real men fight men, not women and children. And I mean, we're out of words. That's all I know. So here's my disclaimer. I do have the right to freedom of expression. My opinion of you is that you're a pussy. I don't know. As far as my family, listen, I love my family. I understand there's reasons they've done what they've done. But the second that they had a choice to allow a serial killer or whatever, I think you're a serial killer, a cop killer, a rapist, certainly raped me, someone who has taken so much from me, and Dennis, as aggravated I am at Dennis, he's a child, he's my child, and caused him to lose his home more than once, and hurt a kid that way, and you allowed him in, and never had the decency to ask me if I was okay with that. He's your family. I mean, I guess somebody said, does Mr. Perry know that's Cindy's family, not his family? And he said, the guy said, yeah, why? He goes, well, I'm talking to him, and it sounds like he actually believes that's his family, and that is not his family, that's Cindy's family. But it's not. I mean, they don't have any influence over me, because they didn't have the courtesy to ask me, is it okay if he calls us? Is it okay if he comes by here? Is it okay if he asks questions about you? I mean, never. No, it's not okay. And why did you open your home to him? Why did you open your life to him? And not tell me anything? I have to find out from these guys who get me the Fabian puzzle and the McNamara. Those police, I had to find out from them. So, no, you don't have any influence over me. But the people who've been there, they do. The people have given me accurate information time and time again, they do. And Mr. Perry is rejected and told on, rejected day after day after day after day after. There's not been a date, there's been nothing. He's lives in a make-believe world, and he's, got Huntington's caused delusion. Making something up in his head that's not real to me at all. I'm not in it with him. You don't sell a person and then think that's a date. You don't peep on a person and think that's a date. That's crime, not a date. You don't hack somebody and then go, I made you broke, call me. Oh my God. Wow. So every day that I don't make $3,000 a month, you're going to have to, you're going to deal with that in your criminal case. As far as the, whatever Mr. Perry keeps, waving him off, I won. Okay. Good for you. We gave you a gold star. Go have your barbecue. The prosecutor told me you stay out of that. Let them have their file all the stuff they want to file, do all the stuff they want to do. And then I'll go in and file what I'm going to file. Because he's using that to coerce you. He's using to use it to tamper with my witness. And it's a lot of fraud. It's a lot of perjury. That's the kind of what they do. They just I mean, we all know they lie in court all the time. You're never there. So I want to handle that. I want you, don't obstruct justice. You stay out of it, I'm dealing with it. Okay, that's my answer, and I've already said that actually, and I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to repeat myself again. Okay? You need to get... I record these podcasts so I don't have to repeat myself. I don't have time. I'm very busy. I don't know why you're not. So, now, this is more evidence for you to take to that court and put it on the docket and tell everybody how abused you are and how you're the victim. Okay?
I can't live here anymore because you stopped me. That's why leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
Leave me alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
What
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave
happened?
me alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stopped me. That's why leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
Leave me alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
What
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave
happened?
me alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stopped me. That's why leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
Leave me alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
what
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave
happened?
me alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stopped me. That's why leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
Leave me alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
what
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave me
happened?
alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stopped me. That's why leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
Leave me alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you.
What
I don't ever
happened?
want to hear your voice to you. Please,
what
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave
happened?
me alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
About
Stop
stress.
stalking me. Please
Stepdad's been raping you since
leave me
you were 12 years
alone. Please.
old. Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior. And you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. You need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.